Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. My name is Husni Gusti Nursan Munadi, and my student's number is 202122045. And I'm the moderator for this session. And our group will be deliver a material about translation in the information technology era. And I'd like to introduce my member in this group. The first is Riwahyuni, and the second is Dini Novianti.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dini Novianti. My student's number is 2021-22-059. Here I will present the first material, which is about translation, globalization, and localization. The volume of translation conducted worldwide has increased dramatically in the last 50 years. Even though English may have become a lingua franca of world trade, it is the increasing globalization and the advent of the internet that have meant that promotional literature, technical manuals, web pages, and all range of other communication are being translated into other language at a faster and faster pace. In addition, the growth of international organizations such as the United Nations and the European Union has made interpreting at meetings and translation of documentation a necessity. Translation is thus big business. In fact, for many companies, translation has become part of what is known as the GILT business, or globalization, internationalization, localization, and translation. The acronym is sometimes reduced into GIL, since in many instances in the translation part is subzone under localization, defined as followed by the Localization Standards Industry Association, or LISA. LISA's website goes on to differentiate between localization and translation in its main field of computer software. It explained that while localization involves translation of the linguistic content, it also involves adapting the size of screen dialog boxes, colors, and character sets to ensure correct display. Furthermore, visuals may need altering with taxis, telephones, buses, and so on. The website explained that there are 4 inputs to this process. First, the new software to be translated. Second, the new documentation and help files. Third, the translation of the previous software release. Fourth, the last documentation and help files that were translated. The process is facilitated by the use of computer assisted translation, or CAT. Specifically, the previous software translation is incorporated into the translation memory tool. In the case of the reference manuals, the tools aligns the new and last version of the ST and TT and pinpoints which elements have changed. This process helps to assure consistency of terminology and means that the translators only need to translate the changed text. Finally, the text and dialog boxes that are going to be visible to the user also need to be checked for functionality. It is clear that the translation memory tool plays a key role in assisting the translator. This is a typical of the translator's work nowadays. Translators' memory tools, of which Trados, Translators Workbench, and Atril's Deja Vu are the best known. Compile translation database in the translator is typing in the text.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Riwahyuni and my student's number is 2021-22043. And here I will explain about translation in information technology era, the machine and the translator. Computer power is therefore being harnessed by the translation industry, but it is still remain computer assisted translation. The goal of fully automatic or machine translation remains elusive, although recent development has been more promising. And then a brief history of early machine translation. The first development in machine translation, or MT, took place after the Second World War. The beginning of the Cold War in the late 1940s prompted significant investment by the US government in automatic Russian English translation system for the military. France, Japan, and the UK and the USSR had small program. This These first generation systems were known as direct systems since they were basically word-based direct replacement system, and each ST word would be looked up and replaced by a corresponding TL system. Word for word substitution is not a solid base for translation. Without significant progress, MT reputation fell very low in 1960, following damning criticism by Yehoshua Bar Hillel in his report of the state of machine translation in the United States and Great Britain in 1959, and the report published in 1966 by the Automatic Language Processing Advisory Committee. Bar Hillel, in his report, considered that the real world knowledge was necessary for translation and that it was impossible for a machine to replicate. He felt that the goal of fully mechanized translation on a par with that produced by a professional translator was unrealistic. In his opinion, it would be more realistic to attempt to produce machines that work in conjunction with humans. And then a brief overview of the history of the field. Martin Kai, 1980 or 2003, discussed some of the obstacles to successful machine translation, including words with multiple meanings, sentences with multiple grammatical structures, uncertainty about what the pronouns refer to, and other problem of grammar. And then the kind of real world knowledge referred to Bar Hillel in 1959. Despite this, from the late 1870 onward, MT enjoyed more successful outcome partly by focusing on very specific genres and situations. The most well-known of these success stories has been the Canadian Meteo system, which was developed at the University of Montreal. It translates automatically the weather bulletin for the Meteorological Service of Canada. This is simple but effective system. Depends on careful pre-editing and the adoption of very control axis and syntactic structure. System is also reversible, which means that automatic France into English translation is possible with weather forecast originating from Quebec. Then, MT development over recent decades has focused on second generation indirect system, which add an intermediate phase between ST and TT. This is either an interlingual approach, where our ST meaning is represented is an abstract for before being reconstituted into the TT, or the rather more successful transfer approach. According to Summer, 1998, the latter comprise three stages. First stage is analysis and representation of ST syntactic structure. The second stage is transfer into TL structure, and the last stage is synthesis of output from that structure. And then there is Cistran. Cistran is the most widely used MT system, which is many way a mixture of first and second generation system, which is fact uses a very large lexicon and little syntax. Cistran was originally developed privately in the USA and was trialed at the European Commission in Luxembourg. It is now used extensively for instant translation of web page. That's all from me. The other material will be explained by my friends. Thank you.
Alright, the third material is electronic reference translation. From the 1990s onward, a statistical approach to MT has become popular. This is based on computers analysis of statistical from the large body of existing bilingual parallel text to determine the probability of matching system given by SL and TL expression. The best known of this new system is the candidate system developed at the IBM T.J. Watson Research Center in USA. The electronic documents, the corpus, are the proceeding of Canadian Parliament, known as the Canadian Hansard. These are produced in English and French version. Other computational use of parallel text are for the generation of natural language, like Batman, Addition, and Licheng in 1999, and the automatic extraction of lexical equivalents. There are Botsis, Piperides, and Demiras in 1999. But in fact, electronic corpora, which were originally formed to assist large-scale dictionary project, first at Cobuild in Birmingham, UK, and then at other major publishers, are becoming increasingly used in research across the board in translation studies. There are now some very large reference corpora that are available online, either free or by subscription. These include the bilingual French until English Canadian Hansard Corpus and large monolingual corpora such as British National Corpus and the Bank of English, where the website also entry to a corpus of French and Spanish and the Spanish Real Academia Corpus. And then one reason is simply that many more texts are produced electronically. So it is possible for researchers to access their own corpora of newspaper of text and then bilingual version of document from international organization and so on. Similarly, it is often possible for a researcher to put together a ST or TT, such as a novel is translation in electronic form. Alright, I think enough for our presentation today. Thanks for your attention, and I'm sorry for the mistake. If you have any question, you can ask in the Q&A session. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.